Hello crochet friends, welcome back to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia, and in today's project I am so excited for this one. Isn't this just the coolest crochet jacket or crochet hoodie? Now the yarn that we use is really important. It absolutely must be a super bulky or super chunky, a number 6 yarn. A number 5 will not work for this. Doubling up on a number 4 will not work. It just will not create the stitch that we are working for. So along with the yarn. And I'm using Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek Super Bulky. The color is ivory. The hook is a Q. Q is in queen, or a 16 millimeter. Yes, it's massive. The tutorial will be for a size small, and then the printable pattern will be available at my Etsy shop, which is also right here, Crazy Cool Crochet US, as in United States, .etsy.com. Links for that will be in the white space below the video, and you will probably have to open that up manually to get to those links. And for the additional information regarding how much yarn was used, dimensions, again, either at the blog or down in that white space. And before we get started, if you really, really enjoy this project or any of my other designs, I would so greatly appreciate it if you would participate in YouTube's thank you program. So again, down in the white space, you might see 3 little dots, and if you open that up, you'll see more icons, and one of the icons is a heart. And if you click on that, it allows you to donate a little something to what I call my YouTube tip jar. I would appreciate that so very much. Thank you all. Okay, now let's get started. So for the size small, we are going to very, very loosely. Now do understand, for this entire project, you have got to work very, very loosely. I mean uncomfortably loosely, okay? That will provide, or that will result in the design, the shape of the chains. This will determine, the foundation chain determines the length from the shoulder to the hem. I made mine very short, very deliberately. That's what my design called for, a short crochet jacket. If you want yours longer, then absolutely go ahead and add to the foundation chain in any number that you wish, and just make sure that all of your panels use the same foundation chain number. So for a size small, we will chain 26. Remember to keep it loose. Now that chain of 26 will give you a panel 19 inches long. So counting from the neck down to the hem will be 19 inches long. We will start working in the second chain. So there's the first one. Do not count the loop on the hook. There's the first one, there's the second one. We're going to enter into the chain for a slip stitch. So just pull the yarn right through into that loop on the hook. There's the next chain. Pull the yarn through right into that loop on the hook. Slip stitch. And work loosely. So do this into every chain until you get to the end, and you will have 25 stitches. At the end of that first row, you will chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to work our repeat row. So we will be working into the back loop only of this, what looks like a chain at the top. So you'll insert your hook into that V, so that you are working with that back loop for a slip stitch. Loosely Super, super loose. So just work that all the way to the end for 25 stitches. So now again at the end of that row you would chain 1 and turn and then just continue in the pattern. And for the front panels you will work 2 of course and work for 21 total rows. 21 rows that will give you a width. Remember we're going to wear it this way. So this is up and down the length, so then the width will be 11 inches for one panel, one front panel. Now, when you're wearing this, the panel stretches quite a lot. Of course, you don't want it to stretch so much that you lose the stitch. But just so you know, if you think that 11 inches is too tight or too narrow, you can add rows to widen it some more. As well as, if you think the 19 inches is too short, you can add as many chains as you want to the beginning foundation chain to add length. You will work the back panel exactly the same as for the 2 front panels. So start with the same foundation chain, only this time we're going to work for 42 rows. Of course, this is how we will be wearing it. So this is the back. And there is one of the front panels. So we will be seaming at the shoulder, adding the sleeves, and then the hood. Now the sleeves we will make exactly the same way, except we start with a chain of 24 and we're working with 23 stitches for 26 rows. And this will give us a sleeve about 17 inches long and 14 inches wide. And then you've also got the tiny bit of a drop sleeve, which will add a little more length. Now we are going to seam the front panels to the back panel. And of course you want wrong sides up. So if you recall, the right side is the side that has the tail from the foundation chain. So that's the right side. We are going to seam for 6 inches. So from the edge, you're working for 6 inches. And I marked it with a stitch marker, which I just used contrasting yarn. And the same over here, you're going to seam for just 6 inches and then stop. All right, I'm going to use slip stitches for the seaming, which I don't normally do. I'm not super comfortable with slip stitches for a seam. If the last stitch comes unraveled for whatever reason, the whole seam comes undone in one fell swoop. So I don't typically do this. However, because this is so thick, this is the best option. And of course, the yarn needle, I couldn't get the yarn through there. It's just too thick. So if you have a larger yarn needle, it might work for you to do a whip stitch. Your preference. Now I'm using a slightly smaller hook to get into the stitches. And we do want to take care to line up the chain rows. Okay, so your chain row here, and I've marked it right here just so for a reference, and then the chain row here. So you want to line those up so that when it's back on the front side, the chains are nicely lined up. So the only suggestion I have is to go under 2 strands on each panel. Just make sure you're going under 2 strands and then slip stitch. Now, when you get to the end of your 5 inches or 6 inches, that's where you want to be super careful how you tie it off. So you're going to tie it off, leave a good long tail so you can weave it through. And make sure you're weaving it very securely. Now we're going to attach the sleeve to the body, and you want to find the center of the sleeve and match that up to the shoulder seam. and mark it with your stitch marker, and then just seam along there. Now, of course, when you're attaching the sleeve, you want wrong sides up. Now, it is important the way you place the sleeve, the way you situate the sleeve. So there's the right side. This is the wrong side. So make sure that your tail is against the body. The reason for that is when we fold it over, you have the chains going in the correct direction. See the V? And then over here on the body, you've got your V's also going the same way. After you have seamed the sleeve to the body, then we can seam the sides. And then under the sleeve, the bottom of the sleeve. Now for the hood, we are going to need 2 panels. And we're going to work it the same as the rest of the panels. We will start with a chain of 20, and we will work with 19 stitches for a total of 20 rows. Okay, now situate your hood panels with the wrong sides up. And I just use stitch markers so that I could have a quick reference as to which is the right side. So that's the right side, wrong side's up. So now position the panels. So now the right sides are inside, and note the chains are going in the same direction. Again, that's very important. So now we're going to seam. That would be the forehead. It's the top of the head coming down the back of the hood. So seam from here across and down, and then stop. All right, now to seam the hood to the body, there's your front panels. So you will take the edge of the hood, match it up to the edge of the front panel, and then you will be seaming around. Of course, do it on the wrong side. So be seaming around, and then across the back, then back up to the next side, and seam along the front again. Now, for the sleeves, they turned out, if you leave it as is, very wide. I don't like that look for this particular project. So all I did was add 1 row of single crochet to the edge. Now here's what you want to do is use the same hook, the large one, insert it into a seam right side facing you, insert your yarn. Now as you go around, you're going to skip some big spaces. Okay, so skip over here and insert your hook over here for your single crochet. Skip over here, insert your hook. So you see what we're doing is squeezing it in. So just use your discretion as far as how much you're going to skip as you go. When you get back to where you started, just slip stitch into that first single crochet and then tie it off. And here we are, another crazy cool crochet project in the books. This crochet chunky jacket, crochet hoodie, the body. Wow, that was a pleasure. It really was. It was so easy. This is one of those stitches that is absolutely mindless, and you can do it while watching TV or whatever, and the panels were really, really short, so you got through the rows very quickly. So as I said at the very beginning, using a couple of toggle type buttons, the wooden ones, the dark brown wooden ones would be really cute, and of course if you want to close this up, well, that would be the way to go. If it's not noticeable in the photos or, in the tutorial, this is really thick. You can really use this when it's chilly outside or downright cold. Okay, so that's the project for this week. Come back soon for the next one. Thank you, guys.